What's up, everybody? My name is Raz Christopher Avery. You can call me Raz, you can call me Chris, you can call me RC, it doesn't matter. Totally up to you. But I do want to welcome you to episode 2. We're going to be talking about the burden of the Lord, right? We are building something here. This is the builder's journal. And so I don't want to just sit here and ramble, but I do want to treat this as if it is my own journal. I do journal a lot. And God has just really placed burdens on my heart that I do build off of. And I'm a firm believer that the Lord will give you a burden before He releases ideas and strategies on what to build. And so that's what today is going to be. Really, the Lord has burdened me to build a coffee shop. I never had any desire to build a coffee shop. I never had any desire to be in coffee. I have a background in restaurant management and working at Red Lobster and Olive Garden and just different other places that I should have no business being in. But the point is, I was really running from this burden that God was giving me of entrepreneurship. I didn't really want to be an entrepreneur because no one in my family wasn't ever one. I never had anyone to make that a reality for me. Like I wasn't able to see anybody be an entrepreneur in my family, and so those cards were off the table. I needed to have a career. I needed to have a set salary where I knew exactly how much I was going to get paid, and I could be able to budget and all the things. And I remember God giving me burdens upon burdens upon burdens um, all throughout my marriage since 2021. And I just ran because I just felt like the burden that God was giving me wasn't going to sustain me and my family, me and my wife. And I've come to find out that stability is not in a paycheck. Stability is in trusting God. That's stability because God is stability. And He was trying to give me a chance to be stable in all that I am. But I just had other plans. And we know that to be pride. I was just very prideful. I was rebelling against God because I did not agree with the way that He wanted to move, the direction that He wanted to move in my life. I did not agree with it. And that's why I asked that question of like, have you ever had something that God was just pressing on your mind and on your heart and it just won't leave you alone? For the past 3, 4 years, I have had this burning sensation of you're an entrepreneur, you're an entrepreneur. Everywhere I went, my wife, you're not meant to be on anybody's clock. I'm like, girl, be quiet. I'm trying to get you some money. And she's just, for the longest, you're not meant, you're not created to be on someone's timesheet. My spiritual parents always told me, Chris, I see many businesses. I see so many things for you. I went to this place called Spa Castle in Dallas, Texas, with my spiritual parents and my wife. I met my spiritual sister for the first time, and boom, you're an entrepreneur. I see you writing books and all these things, and I'm like, it won't leave me alone. Can you relate to that? Like, how many times has somebody prophesied to you, or how many times has somebody told you the same exact thing over and over and over again? And I'm sorry, I'm also at my coffee shop while I'm recording. So, like, if you see me looking over, I'm trying to just look. But have you ever had that? Just people prophesying to you over and over and over again. People just um, constantly telling you what you don't want to hear. I didn't want to hear that I was going to be an entrepreneur. What I did want to hear is you're going to have a stable job. You're going to be able to have a career. And, when I was able to get back in school and get my bachelor's degree, I just knew that this was the chance that I was going to be able to find a career. I was going to have set hours. I was going to have a set pay, and I was going to be so excited and happy. That wasn't the case. And I say that all to say for the past 3 or 4 years, I had no vision of the future, right? I didn't have any plans. All I was doing was just working all these odd jobs until the Lord sat me down in 2024. I applied to so many different jobs, 126 to be exact. Then I got 126 denials. These are not just side jobs. These are jobs that I'm overqualified, honestly. But like these are also jobs that I just did not get because the Lord was calling me to entrepreneurship. And finally, in 2025. I was at a standstill. I had the option to either take a general manager position at a pizza place, Grimaldi's Pizza in Plano, to take that making $80,000 a year, or take a barista job to potentially be the general manager over a coffee shop later in the months ahead or whatever for $16 an hour. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just go ahead and choose the one that I know God has wanted me to do. And I remember in 2023, God gave me a burden and a blueprint of a coffee shop, and I remember writing it out. I wrote it in crayon because that's all I had at the time. I wrote down a coffee shop idea. I wrote down a blueprint and I put it away. 2025 June, I got the chance to open up a coffee shop, and that's a separate video. I got the chance to open up a coffee shop. That was very significant because I literally was running so long. I was running for years, and finally I was like, Lord, you won't leave me alone on this, and so I'm just going to submit to you. Lord, what do you want me to do? And the moment I came into agreement with the burden that the Lord was pressing on my heart about entrepreneurship and creativity, was the moment that things just started opening up for me. It was literally amazing, guys. I literally opened this business in 3 to 4 months. It did not take me long. I got all of my licenses, all my permits. I didn't have to pay a dime out of my pocket. I had help along the way. I had mentors guiding me. And now I'm sitting almost a year in. In about 3 months, I would have had this coffee shop for an entire year. And I can tell you that God is moving and building as I continue to say yes. This is a continual process, guys. This wasn't just I'm finna just up and do it, right? It wasn't I woke up today and was like, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur and I'm gonna quit everything. No, it was a process, and I was processed in all of these things. And so that's what I want to really just talk to you about. Building is messy. That's what we talked about in episode 1. It is messy. It is a process and it's very hard. And so I don't want you to take this and being like, oh, well, he's acting like this is just easy. It's not. Okay. But it is easier with the Lord because the mess has purpose, right? I was just in a bunch of mess for the last 3 to 4 years, but all that mess had no purpose because I was in rebellion, right? It took me so long to get to a place where I was finally content with what God was burdening me with. And so, what is the Lord burdening you to do? What has He pressed on your heart? What has He pressed on your mind? Right? A lot of us are trying to build without a burden, and that just simply can't happen. Right? I want to pick on Nehemiah real quick. Nehemiah was a cupbearer. He was used to drinking and eating before the king did because he was the filter that the food and the drink had to go through um, before the king, before the food or drink touches the king's palate or his tongue, right? And the Lord burdened him about the wall of Jerusalem. The wall of Jerusalem was not just a ordinary wall. This wall represented Jerusalem's identity, Jerusalem's worship. It also represents Jerusalem's covenant with God, but it was in ruins. It was just destroyed. And the Lord burdened Nehemiah to go do something about it. And so, what did Nehemiah do? He ends up getting permission and the funding and all the things from the king to be able to move on behalf of the Lord's burden that he placed on his heart. Right? Nehemiah received the burden, but he's a cupbearer. He has no idea how to build a wall. Okay? That's why he got permission and builders and things like that. He has no idea how to build a wall. But what he does know how to do is submit to the Lord. And that's all God is asking you to do, is just submit. And so thank you for tapping into episode 2. I pray that really all of these episodes will help you build whatever God is asking you to build. We're going to do it together. Although I'm a little bit ahead, we're still building, right? I'm just giving you the things that the Lord has placed on my heart and writing a journal and also giving that journal back to you all so that you all can read it and listen to it and watch it and have something to go off of. I was a person who did not have a family who was an entrepreneur, so I thought these were off the cards were off the table. But here's what I'm telling you. I want you, if you are one of those people who have no family members in entrepreneurship, use me as a reference, okay? Y'all my cousins now. Y'all my family. Y'all my brothers and sisters. So use me as a reference that as long as you do it with God, you can do it. Okay? There's no risk in trusting God. I have not taken any risk. I've listened to the Lord in everything. It's not a risk because He knows all. He knows what's best. So I love y'all. I'll see you in episode 3. Peace.